What's up, Will? How you been, man?
I'm doing well, Gavin. How are you?
I'm doing great. So let's just start off, kind of introduce yourself, talk about your rugby career so far at ASU. Just get a little intro for you.
Okay, yeah. I'm William. I'm a junior from Memphis, and I'm a sports management major with a minor in multimedia journalism. I've been playing the sport of rugby for, I've got to say, 4 years now. Started senior year of high school. My journey to rugby was a little bit different than most people's. I started with football. Decided football wasn't gonna work out at the collegiate level, and my rugby coach in high school decided give me a shot on the team, and I came out to one practice and loved the game, and ever since then I've been playing it. And I only got to play in one game because of COVID for 2020, but I got enough film to where the A State coach reached out to me and offered me a position since he had seen some of my clips and knew that I was already coming to A State. So I joined the team, and I've been playing with the Red Wolves ever since.
I mean, that is a really impressive and really cool story. Your high school career, you only ever played in one rugby game, and then you show up here at one of the top rugby programs in the country, and you're on the team as soon as you get here after just playing one game.
Yeah, it was pretty weird because in high school I was only playing with fellow Memphians, and then I got here and it was so diverse with South Africans, Frenchmen. I live with Zimbabweans, Spaniards, English, Poshmen, all over the world. So it's really cool. It's definitely diversified my life.
Yeah, that is super cool. And one thing I do want to talk to you about really is going into the detail of transitioning from football to rugby. And mentally, a lot of the some of the rules are similar, and the fact the ball's shaped the same, you're trying to get it to one end of the field to the other, but there's really not that similar sports when you think about it. And what were some of the biggest transitions and I guess mental techniques and physical techniques you had to change going from football to rugby?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things is learning how to tackle differently, because one of the biggest things in football is they teach you you want to get your head across their body. That way you can take them to the ground. But in rugby, you want your head to be on the same side of the body. So if someone's running at you, you want to hit them on one side. In rugby, whether in football, they wanted you to tackle on the side. And that's basically because in rugby, without the pads, it's a lot more dangerous to tackle like that for your head and your shoulders. So that's why they teach, and it's a much safer way of tackling. And it kind of reminds me of just playing pickup football back in second grade when everyone just tackled each other and with no pads. It kind of reminds me of that. But it definitely got some getting used to because you don't want to tackle differently, and then also passing the ball backwards. That's not something you typically do in football. So um, I've started really getting better at rugby for passing backwards, and it's actually interesting because when I watch football now, I see so many opportunities just to pitch the ball backwards and score a touchdown. But since they don't have that rugby knowledge, they're not gonna test that out. So I'm interested to see if I was given a shot at playing football again, if I could maybe get some rugby passes going and score some touchdowns for a state.
Oh yeah, that'd be really cool to see, kind of you transition from football to rugby and kind of see what would happen if some rugby players swapped over to football. And that kind of gives me another question I just thought of is A State's football team has been a little down the past few years. If you could take any of your rugby teammates and put them on A State's football team, who would it be and what position would you have them playing?
Oh, that's a good question. There are a lot of really good athletes. I think there definitely could be a kicker or two. I think Ridgway, he'd kill me for saying this, but I think Ridgway would definitely be a kicker. I don't think he's got the speed for a wide receiver, but we've got some big guys. I know Jalen played D line in high school as well. I know Lonzo, he's from the Bahamas. He's a big guy. I think he weighs around 250. He could be a linebacker. Probably not a lot of offensive guys just because they'd want to throw the ball backwards, and um, would maybe be a little bit more risky with the ball and would turn it over. But definitely for defense, there is a lot of room for rugby guys because all you have to do is just stand out there and read the play and then go out and hit somebody. So that's really what rugby's all about. And so there's a lot of guys that would be down for that.
And one more question for you is you played linebacker in high school when you played football?
Yeah, I was a linebacker and wide receiver. I
Okay,
kind of
and
played.
then now what is your position in rugby and kind of how is that compared to playing in high school and what position you play?
Yeah, so in my career in Arkansas State, I actually transitioned from being a backline player to a forward. So now I am the number 7 man, which is considered the flanker. And the flanker is probably my favorite position. Well, it is my favorite position in rugby. Not only because I play it, but basically they're always mixed up in something. So they're the guys that are on the edge of the rucks. So they always make sure they get the tackle and they're always hitting. They're always involved in offense. So I would say a flanker is very similar to what I did in football because a linebacker, they're the heart of the defense. They're the guys that are making sure everyone knows what's going on. They want people to be places, and that's kind of how I feel on the pitch. I'm making sure my guys are lined up, and in case they don't see the defense properly enough, then I can say it from the outside because I'm typically going to position myself more on the outside to where if they're going to try to get it wide, then I can come up and smack them.
All right, and last question I have for you is rugby is a growing sport here in the United States. Major League Rugby is one of the newest professional sports leagues in the country, and it's a very international sport. What is something you would say to high school football players around the country who maybe don't have an opportunity to play rugby at the high school level that are kind of interested in, being an athlete in college and maybe don't have the opportunity to play football?
I think it's a great opportunity. I think America is definitely growing in the sport of rugby. We unfortunately failed to qualify for the upcoming Rugby World Cup, but the following one, the United States is actually going to be hosting, I believe, in 2032. So I think that's going to definitely boost the sport of rugby in the United States because who doesn't love a good World Cup, right? The
Oh
soccer
yeah.
World Cup's going on right now. The whole world's into it. So I think it's definitely going to help. And there are so many good football athletes that hang up the cleats after high school and don't play again that I think would love to play rugby. I think it's a very easy game to transition to. The rules can kind of be hard to learn. Like I think I'm just now starting to fully understand all the aspects of the game. It's taken me about 3 years, which it definitely can be confusing at times, but just keep asking questions and keep coming in and working hard to learn and you'll get the knowledge and well the skill that we have in America I think is the most skill around the world in my opinion. Obviously I'm a very big red, white, and blue American, so I'm very proud and I hope that our rugby team can someday match with some of the tops like the All Blacks in New Zealand and England and France and Australia and some of those great nations.
Dude, thank you for taking a few minutes out of your day, especially here on Thanksgiving break when we're all just, trying to relax with our families. It's good to talk to you, dude.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me and anytime you want to talk, I'm always down.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much.